Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon Live. Because you don't know how it's going to turn out.
My kids empowered me to get out.
What's going on with this remote learning and in the midst of COVID?
Working for different elected officials, learning and understanding how to put the community first.
Hello, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And hello to my co-host, Miss Tiffany.
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Well, I'm still in the mood of celebrating Women's History Month, and we have another very, very exciting young lady on tonight to talk to us about whether we should change careers or not. There's Dianne Bowdary. She's MBA. She's an award-winning corporate executive, international best-selling author, and motivational speaker. She is also a finance and career coach. She believes in empowering women to take charge of their financial future and maximize every opportunity aligned with the purpose, including their careers. So we want to welcome her to the show tonight. Hello there, Miss Dianne Bowdary. How are you?
Tiffany and
Thank you for joining us on our Women's History Month.
Well, I am honored to be a part of it.
All the way from Texas. So thanks so much for coming on. We're going to talk about careers tonight because sometimes, you're in a career and you don't know where to stay there. You don't know where to change. You don't know, what you should do. So how do we know when it's time for us to change careers?
There are a few signs. Some of them are subtle and some of them smack you in the face. But one of them is when you just cannot stand getting up in the morning. That's a really strong sign. And we all have those days where we just don't feel like it. But when you get to the point where it's like day after day after day, and you cannot pull yourself, it takes everything in you. Have you ever had that happen? It just takes everything in you.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
Then that might be a red flag right there.
Yeah. Yeah, that reminded me when it was time for me to retire, and I couldn't make up my mind, should I retire or should I keep going? But then when I started coming to work late, I knew it was time for me to go.
But is it that you're tired of the career, or are you just tired of working at all?
Right. That's the thing you have to evaluate. Are you just tired of working?
Because I'm tired of working. I'm ready for retirement.
And you can, you have your money straight. You can plan for that, for early retirement. But a lot of folks, you have to understand, is it really that you're upset with the job? Are you upset with your life? Is it your career? Or is it really just something internal and you're putting the weight of it onto the career that you have?
But normally people, I don't know, when you change careers, usually people, when they go in this career, don't you go in the career because that's what you kind of passionate about and that's what you really wanted to do? And, you always said, I want, just like people say, if they always wanted to be a doctor or nurse or whatever, right. They go into that career. So are you saying that maybe later down the road, they may decide this is really not my passion?
It might have been their passion at that time when they chose it. And maybe it's been 10, 15 years. It might have been 5 years and now their passion has changed. Or maybe they thought they liked it, but then they found out they really didn't like it, or just not giving them the fulfillment that they're looking for. So we find it very common that women and just people in general will switch careers altogether and have a second, third love, another passion, and they pursue that. We saw that during the pandemic. That was really a big surge of that came about.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Agree. No, I was going to say I agree with that because after a certain amount of years, it's the career sometimes is no longer challenging. So now you become bored. And then, for me, it's like, okay, I'm looking for something else. I mean, I myself have stayed in the same industry, but I have moved to different parts of the industry. to make it more challenging and make me want to stay. Because if I stayed in the same position, I felt like I wouldn't be able to manage. That's when I really was like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, people need to realize they could be tired of that one area that they're in, but there are multiple areas within a career that you can explore. You don't have to do the same type of job every single day, every time.
Right.
So people generally have options, but don't know how to explore those.
I noticed during the pandemic, when people had the chance to really stay home, a lot of them like started their own business. They left their jobs and started their own business, since they was, already, I don't know, it was like they changed their minds, because I understand there was a lot of businesses that started during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to remember, it was a lot of people that were laid off. There were a lot of businesses that closed down and people were out of work, right? So they used that opportunity to do something, because we need income. We got to pay our bills still. And so folks were then using that opportunity to try out something new and try out a new passion. So that time period showed the largest increase in new businesses. And this is according to the Census Bureau, that there was over a 50% increase in the number of businesses that started compared to the prior year. It was over 50% increase.
So do you think, why do you think that? Like, did you think people just got like really happy about being able to work from home? Or, I mean, because I didn't want, well, I don't think, was I working during it? No, I wasn't working
No,
during
you
it.
was not.
That's forever ago now.
You was resting.
But I felt like even if I had been working during the pandemic, I don't think I would want to stay home, because I didn't even want to be home when it was the pandemic. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be stuck in the house like that, And it took a well, I kept myself busy, so I didn't have to worry about getting bored and all that kind of stuff, when I was stuck in the house and stuff like that. But I don't think I'd want to work from home. I like the idea of being with people and socializing and stuff.
I work from home and I enjoy it. I enjoy the idea of not having to deal with the commute to work. I enjoy being able to have the flexible time, especially when you have kids, it works. I'm able to, go to the school, pick them up, not have to worry. So, it kind of works for me. And then I don't have to deal with the office politics.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true. That's true in a sense. It's true. I mean, the commute, that would be the only thing that I would miss is in the traffic driving or whatever. But I would miss the socializing with the other employees, having someone to talk to. I mean, you're in the house, you're working. Like, who are you talking to?
Right. But some people that have don't have the luxuries that maybe you have, with a closed off room that you can use. Some people have to work off their kitchen table, and the kids are running around, or they're in their living room and there's a lot of commotion going on and they don't have a choice. Might be a lot of noise in the background. It might be that they just don't have clear space to think.
See, that's what I'm saying, because you don't really have well, you know what? I found when I used to call some of the offices, the agencies, sometime that I had to call, the people who was working at home, their children was running loose in the background. I mean, one lady, her baby was crying and carried on. So, and I said, Miss, why don't you just go see about your baby? And I'll stay on the phone and wait until you come back and go check on the baby and stuff. And this is her job. She's working on her job.
Right. That was very common.
During the pandemic, you didn't have a choice. I mean, your boss knew you had your kids at home, you're homeschooling, you're doing all of this. And so they had to accept what it came with.
But not all bosses understood that, because remember, some people got fired because of the background noise and stuff, because they had to take care of their kids and stuff. But when we talk about the careers and changing careers, I mean, do we change in the same field, but something like a little different? Or do we change completely and go into something totally different?
We find that a lot of people are changing into a completely different area. Like folks are burnt out or they just want to try something new that they haven't tapped into. And then when they had that time off or time at home, time alone with the pandemic that they don't usually have, then they had the luxury of testing it out. They had the luxury of thinking things through and maybe getting some support. Maybe they had some extra funds to work on it and they just pursued it. And so folks have made drastic changes from where they normally sit within their career.
Now, I know some people. I want to talk to you about, because I know some people who have certain skills, and I mean they have skills where they can make a lot of money, but it seems like they're complacent where they're at, or they're scared to make that move. I mean, what would you tell somebody who has a skill but too scared to move on to the next stage of their life?
Yeah.
I would tell them to think about being in that same position in 10 or 15 years. Is that going to bring happiness to them? If they can visualize themselves still there, more than likely they'll think about it and they'll be like, I can't do this for another 10 years. And so once they start to visualize themselves in a position where they want to be and where they know they're going to get a lot of happiness, it's much easier to accept and process that change. And I tell people, take baby steps. You know, you don't have to do a big, bold jump all at once. You can think things through, come up with an exit strategy so that it makes sense and it makes financial sense as well. We don't want you to jump into another career and then you cannot pay your bills, your house, you know, is at risk of foreclosure and whatnot. Your car is about to get taken away because you're not making the same amount of money. So we want to look at the entire financial picture before just switching careers altogether.
So Dianne, what do you mean? Well, I mean, I have an idea of what you mean when you say take baby steps. Okay, so if I'm changing my career completely and I want to do something totally different, so how would I begin, like, taking baby steps? I don't, you know, could you explain?
Yeah, so you can start by talking to other people who are in that profession and doing that job and understanding what the roles are, understand what the different positions are that you can hold within that career path, and understand what your career path is. And think about what it is exactly that you want to do. Does it really fit your skills? Does it really fit your passion? Or is this just like, are you running away from something? So take the time. It gives you the time to really process what your path is going to be instead of just jumping in.
So you would tell people, take that chance. Take that chance, even though they might take it slowly, but take that chance. Don't get complacent and stay somewhere when you know you don't have to stay there.
Right. Believe it or not, human beings like to be challenged. They don't want to just be not naturally be doing the same things over and over. And you don't want to feel like it's Groundhog's Day every time. So
yeah. So we're going to take a quick break, Dianne, and we're going to come back because I want to ask you something else about what we should do in our careers as well. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
It's Shannon. It's Shannon.
People couldn't see my potential, so I had to show them.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
Today, I'm the CEO of my own company.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Why are we not rethinking this?
I am more.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
We're back, and if you're just joining us, we're talking about whether we should leave our career or should we stay. Before we went to break, Dianne, I wanted to ask you, like, someone told me once, this was a professional person in their career, and they were saying that you need to change up I don't know where it's just changed the whole career, but you need to change up at least every 5 years, even if you change jobs, at least about every 5 years or so, to help you elevate yourself, to be better. I mean, I don't know about changing jobs every year because I figure if I'm on the job, I don't want to stay in the same position. As long as I can move up in that company, then I'll stay there and move up in that company because I don't know if I want to be switching here and switching there unless I absolutely had to.
Yeah, there are some people that they are quite content being in the same type of role for their entire career, and that's fine. That fits their personality type. Sometimes that job is so challenging and crazy enough that it feels like a different job every day, right? But I am in full support of folks switching and gaining new skills and challenging themselves, and at least 5 years, but if possible sooner, to just push yourselves to do more and to understand what you bring to the table, because all of these experiences help mold us to who we are, and we develop new skills that we can bring to the table every day that we're working. So yes, I would encourage folks to challenge themselves and make that change.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I feel like I agree with the challenging, but also, I mean, that's the way you get your salary up as well when you move around, because I think that when you stay somewhere, you only get a certain increase every year, so you never really get to where you should be. So, I agree that you should at least change every minimum 5 years.
Yes.
What the thing about that, I think, well, I think it is exciting to kind of move around because it challenges you more. One thing, you know what I'm saying, and you do learn a lot because if you are changing, learning different things, I think that's good in your career as well, as to have all these different diversities that you can challenge yourself with. I remember I started off working at the bank, so I was in banking. Then I went from there to education. Then I stayed in education. Then I've been in the media. So I mean, it's been good. I couldn't complain. It's been good to move. To challenge yourself to do different things.
Oh yes.
I mean, I just get bored just doing regular things every day. I get bored and stuff. So I think it's good that we do move around and change certain time because, like we were saying earlier, during the pandemic, a lot of people started their own business. I know some people business didn't last. It only lasted maybe a year or two, and so when that happened to people like that, what would you say to them? Should they start another business, or should they just give up? Maybe go back to the career that they was originally doing.
Well, they definitely do not need to give up. I say, if you need a source of income and you are not burnt out totally from your career, then get your money back to where it needs to be, but still use your time to look at what your next step will be in terms of your business and pursue that. Go all the way with it. Do not let that one thing stop you. You look at all of the people who are, I think about Starbucks and a lot of other businesses that are out there. They had to fail a couple times before they made it to where they are today. If they had given up, we would never get the luxury of experiencing them. So never give up on the dream, whatever that is.
One thing I learned from the pandemic too was, I myself, want to have a business, and it made me think about, well, what business would be pandemic proof, because we never know when that day will ever come again, and we want to make sure, because there's some businesses that was booming during the pandemic. I mean,
a lot.
The seafood spot that we would go to. I know the man is a millionaire by now from the pandemic.
No, he's a billionaire.
The line was out the
He's
door.
a billionaire. He is a billionaire. That is a Chinese seafood place, right?
Okay.
Even before the pandemic, they were crowded, right? When the pandemic hit, you couldn't go inside because it's small, so you only come to the door and order. The line would be around the block. The people
Oh,
never
And
stop
people would wait.
coming. I mean, it's like they know how to make money. They
That
know
was
how to
a
make
time
money.
where a lot of businesses were thriving.
Delivering all the time, and people desperate trying to get some food. But you know what? I think one of the things that people made a lot of money for the pandemic is because people was desperate, right? But not all businesses was strategically planned out. So that's why you find some businesses that failed, and it was just like rushing. People was desperate. People was scared. People didn't have no place to go, so they was like just going where to go. Even in the platform that we're in, people was desperate how they can make more money, how they can get their money back. They was like desperate. Those who lost their jobs, they were like, oh my goodness, how I'm going to eat, where I'm going to live, what about my kids? Kids that was home from school during the pandemic, everybody was in a panic mode. So it wasn't really a set time where people can sit back and digress and just think about what's the next step. How long this pandemic is going to be? What we're going to do for tomorrow? What happened if the stimulus runs out? What happened if unemployment stopped? So people was desperate. So it was like desperate measures for desperate times.
Mhm. Well, I know some of the people that started their own business because I remember one person, she started baking cakes and she just, started selling the cakes to people she know. And then the word just caught on. And next thing you know, she's baking, baking, baking. And now she ended up getting her little a spot. But now she just started her baking business. But that was not her career before the pandemic. But this is what she had to do to help meet ends meet. So now it ended up turning into a career that she didn't have before.
Well, it was good that she was able to monetize a skill that she had.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things that people really don't know, though they don't realize they can untap the inner skills that they have, and they can really provide a service that they can just get paid for. How many times people out there giving advice? They're giving advice, helping others, just basic little thing. You could charge them a minimum fee for that. And that becomes like, wow, I could really charge for that. I can really make money for that. Wow, hey, that's a business. They don't really understand. They don't equate that with actually running a business. They look at business.
Hold up. You said giving information to people can be a business?
Absolutely. Giving advice. People.
Well, then I should have been in business long time ago. I mean, because I'm always giving information, being a consultant to somebody, but I didn't realize that I could get. I didn't realize I could get paid.
Yeah,
People do it. Consulting work.
You've been a
What's
consultant.
that?
I didn't know you could get paid. Well, why did nobody tell me that before?
Well,
You could do it.
Set up a coaching session with me, Lottie, and I'll be happy to help you with that.
She can do it
Never
for
too late.
education. I told her to do it for education, for the
I
school
know,
system.
because I do a lot of consulting. Especially after I left the board, I still was having to talk to the parents, but they still be calling me and I'm giving them information. But then I'm thinking, why are you still talking to them? You don't work there anymore. I mean, why are you still giving them information about? I said, well, that's me. I'm going to help them if I can help them. That's what I'm going to do. But it never occurred to me to set it up as a business.
Of course, you consulting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So and really, literally, it's a few steps to get it started. You don't need $1 million to get it started. You can for that type of job or career path. You don't need a whole lot to start, but you do need to make sure you take these proper steps so you don't have what is the word? What is the word, Dr. Vanessa Tiffani? The word for the business, janky.
It's a
You
legal
want to have
business.
jankiness in your business.
It's a what?
You want to make sure you're not running a janky business. So you just want to make sure.
So what are some of the steps that we should take? What are some of the
Well,
steps we take?
let me tell you, if you are considering switching careers or maybe starting your own business altogether, you really want to think long about what it is that you're leaving. Is it that you're unhappy with the job? Are you unhappy with their career? Are you going to go somewhere else into another role and still be unhappy? Maybe you're looking for that career to bring you happiness where that's not the place to do it. So do some soul searching. And then you want to find out what is it that you're good at and what comes natural to you. Because when you have some rough days and you don't want to get out the bed, that why and that purpose that you have has to be enough to get you up and going constantly. So there are quite a few questions that you'd have to ask yourself, and I work with clients all on that to make sure that they're making the right steps. And then you want to look at your financial situation. is moving and changing careers going to be financially suitable for you at this time? Do you have an emergency fund set up? Do you have money, that the little amount of funds that you need to get the business going? So there are these few steps that you would need to make. Talk to other people who are doing that profession, that career that you're thinking about, and fully understand if you're ready or not to jump in.
But I think anything that you do in your career or your business or whatever, it has to be something that you are passionate about and you enjoy doing it. Because if you're passionate about something, you would do whatever it takes to make it work. If you have to stay up all night doing whatever it is, that's what you would do because that's what you love doing. And I think that's what, when people really become successful in the career, in the business, is because they really like doing that. And they would do whatever it takes to make it work.
And
I agree.
You be up all times tonight doing the best of the things that you do. So you don't do things half-stepping. And that's one of the things that people don't understand. You want to do something, do it right, do it to the fullest, and do it to the best you can. When I get those text messages from you 2-3 o'clock, I'm like, what is she doing up? Everything is.
I am making my career work. So I want to thank, and that's my career, is helping people. I always love helping people. So
there you
thank
go.
you so much, Dianne, for joining us, and
thank you so much for having me.
For giving us some ideas of whether we should love it or leave it. So look, keep Texas hot, and hopefully we'll see you again. And thank everybody for joining us tonight. Hello to Lynette. We saw you, Lynette, on. Thank you for joining in on us. So as it would take, I can't even talk. I didn't know which way I'm going now. I thought about my business. You gave me an idea. So thank you for joining us. Make sure you watch us on Saturday at 5:30 on Brick and 2:30 on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. Every Tuesday night we here live at 8 o'clock. So thank you. And as always, we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next.
Today's show is sponsored by Abu's Bakery. If you have a sweet tooth, stop by Abu's Bakery for some delicious cakes and pies.
Would you like beautiful pictures for your home or your office? Then stop by Faith Art Gallery. They have a large selection of pictures from around the world.
It's Shannon.